Hey, it is the 11th of July, 2019. This is WIKISPEED Standup. Go ahead, Lauren.
Okay. This is Lord Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada. Forgive me if I may have to go away from the tablet at some point, but I'll do this. I don't have a lot to talk about. Past week, actually, I looked at the. I took a quick look at the reporting, and hopefully that'll be next week. I looked at the PDF that I'm working on, and I did a little thing with SD cards in my phones. Actually, I've been doing some things with phones that are slightly peripherally relevant to what we're doing. I got a 128 gig SD card and stuck it in my phone. And I got a, let's see, I bought a book that I was reading just, I got a bunch of Python books out of the library, came due. There was one out of all of them that I really liked. It's called Impractical Projects in Python, How to Be Smarter or something like that. That will make you smarter. It's really good. It has a lot about Python standards and documentation. I mean, Python. It's got like a whole huge literature about, and particularly about practice. So I bought the Kindle version for $20 on Amazon, and so the book has the sort of silly projects, but they're really kind of interesting. One is to do with the second chapter. The second one is to do with palindromes, finding palindromes in a dictionary or generating palindromes from a dictionary. So it's actually a fairly advanced thing. And then it does the program. It shows you a program and it says, here's all the things that are wrong with the program, and here's a tool that we apply the program to identify the stylistic problems with it in terms of meeting a particular standard. It's probably over the top in terms of, in a sense that he's saying, it might be a bit of a joke saying impractical, because as well as they don't have a particular practical use, they also are, it's impractically elegant and like showing you all the things you can do to improve a program. Anyway, I like it. And so I bought it. So that's the one thing that I did, and I've been reading it, but I revived my I opened up my Python, which is actually a VBox in my Windows laptop, and just made sure it was all working, and put in like 3 lines from a program in it. But I just wanted to get back to that a little bit. And let's see. There was something else I did in the last day or so. Oh yeah, I watched all of your, or not all, but I watched your last 4 or 5 videos. The speed on Michael's videos, the measuring the speed and playing with the sonar, by which I think you mean the, and I'll find out later. Maybe we can do that in crosstalk. By sonar, you're talking about the little infrared transmitters and detectors. That's my impression. I may be wrong. That's pretty much it. The book and the buying the book and the the other thing was just about Zoom. So I did I was on a group, nonprofit volunteer group using Zoom for the first time, and I helped them a bit. It was a large meeting, probably with a few hundred people watching, but they read my chat and they fixed the audio. And today I was on a call about a video presentation, half hour by Zoom, about some of their corporate products, showing off some of their hardware. The Zoom that they have a hardware thing for $4,000 with 4 cameras, 16 microphones, and how they interoperate with Skype and other things. So this is their kind of high-end stuff. So they were talking about their paid product and their high-end. And actually, their impression was you couldn't record. So that's an interesting, I think, an error on their part, that you can't record on the free product. So don't tell anybody. Don't tell them anyway that you can record on the free product. So that's what I did this week. Coming week, I'm still hoping to get to the reporting because I want to get it out of the way, because I want to get to playing with I don't have the Raspberry Pi, but I'm very ready to get it and start using it. And blocks, I'm clearing off my desk just because I need the space to do some of the electronic stuff, to just follow some of your videos, and also clear away any kind of financial reporting, taxes, and everything else. But I've made, I've also cleared out a lot of blocks, and I think that's it for me. Yeah, that's it for me on these stand-ups.
Okay, it's Michael Wolchuk in Saskatoon, Canada. Last week, I had powered up the Pi and found the idle environment last week, but I didn't make it to stand up. I relearned that running the serial program inside idle fails because it's an interactive environment and it is messed up by some part of the programming environment. If you save the Python program and run it non-interactively, and it just shows text on the terminal, it works just fine. So I had to relearn that. So I got the serial port sending out and receiving, which is basically just jumping the transmit and receive on the Raspberry Pi. And then, am I not making 5.1? I didn't understand that.
Sorry, I wasn't unmuted. I have a question I don't want to forget. So
okay.
You saved the program, but in the test environment it doesn't work. On the Raspberry Pi programs, that GPIO section that I made, I studied fairly closely in the Raspberry Pi book. It says and this probably will depend if you're acting as root or whatever, but it says you have to run the Pi program sudo and then run the program. Sudo, so you're acting as the administrator in order to get at the GPIO. Did you find that?
I ran it with sudo because I found that in one of the tutorials.
Yeah.
And then I ran it. I forgot to run it and just went Python and then the name of the program, and it still ran. So I don't know if that was just because I ran it sudo first, or if it's required once a session, or what. But I'll be.
Experience is if you're doing admin stuff, it doesn't ask you twice for the sudo.
Okay.
At least it doesn't ask for the password next time you do it. I always do it as sudo, but I think that it basically keeps the password and keeps you as admin in some sense.
Well, then maybe that was what's wrong with the interactive environment, like the because you don't start that with sudo.
Yeah.
So it gives me something to try here. I found a easier way to do the serial port enable and disable from a different video on YouTube. So I've quoted that one, and it still runs. You hit Control C, it stops. I did record a video of it, and I will be posting it. And the next step was to connect it to a serial port on my laptop. And I found out that when I came up to the lake here, I forgot to bring any sort of serial cable, so I can't plug it into my USB adapter and actually get my laptop connected. So I will probably next week we'll try getting the Arduino connected, because I can just put it on the breadboard and connect it across. I'm not sure whether that will work okay or not. We'll see. I plugged in a generic cheap USB hub to give me more USB ports, and it seems to work fine. No config, no drivers to load, no nothing. I think it kind of has to be an old USB hub, just because the latest and greatest Pi Raspbian has drivers for old stuff. Or it does have drivers for everything that it knows about anyway. Next week, I'm hoping to get the laptop connected. Hopefully I can get the Arduino connected. And the serial communication is the reason I want to get it working so badly, is so that the infrared LEDs, the transmit and receive, the beacon is sending a different signal out each direction on the master. So if you're wearing a belt, it's sending something different out the front, the back, and both sides, so that the little red wagon can tell where it is, whether it's in front of you or behind you or on one side or the other. So the Arduino, or the little red wagon, needs to know it is facing you and on which side of you, in order to figure out whether it needs to, come in behind you or go to the side or whatever. So that's why I'm so hung up on getting the serial stuff to work. And then once we get the serial stuff working hardwired, then we put in the infrared diodes in between and detectors. So the sonar thing that I was talking about is actually, if you remember the one-step, the Polaroid one-step, it is the ultrasonic transmitter and receiver pair. From that, it's just a little kit. So it sends out a pulse at 38 kilohertz, and it waits for it to come back, and it calculates the time and says, okay, here's how far away you are. So it is actually an ultrasonic or a sonar. So that was last week, and next week, I guess that's it for me. If you want to go to retrospective, line.
Okay. So I'll give myself a 7. The team at 8. But you like an 11. And the process improvement, I'm thinking just to use the summer. I think I sent an email like that, to use the summer to brainstorm a bunch of ideas to what we would really like to do, to have as a team, and so what would we like happening? Maybe the stand-up's not the right thing. Maybe it's some kind of more diffuse thing, like our idea of the room in Slack, or some other kind of a room thing that you can casually see if somebody's working and start chatting with them. Yeah, anyways, brainstorm some more. That's it.
Okay. For retrospective, I haven't counted up my points. I think I'm going to be at about 3.5 out of 5. So 7, and 1 for showing up is 8. We're actually going to have a recording this time. I'm going to go with 7 for the team just because it's only the 2 of us. It would be nice if there was a little bit more chatter about anything, I guess. I'll agree on the process improvement. We need to come up with a different way to engage people. I haven't looked at any of Joe's videos for a while. I think they actually have a YouTube channel now. I'll have to go looking for it. But perhaps some of the ideas that they use with long distance groups would work out for us. So should probably investigate that. I guess that's something else to add to my backlog. I'll look into that. I do expect a fair bit of progress this week because I am on holidays and I'm hoping to chug through a bunch of this stuff on the Little Red Wagon and at least get the directional stuff operational and a Raspberry Pi talking to the Arduino. That's kind of my goal. So I guess that's about it. And is there anything you'd like to talk about in Crosstalk?
Not a lot that I didn't. Yeah, not a lot. The Zoom stuff is sort of interesting. I think it's at the point where the overall video conferencing. I've been experimenting with my kids with who are in they're 9 and 11 time zones away, so it's good. They're good to test the things. So one of them uses WhatsApp all the time. So that just for practical reasons, I use WhatsApp. Duo. We've been playing with Duo, and Duo is a Google thing, but it's only for 2 people, as the name suggests, and it's stripped down. It doesn't offer many features, but it's just super simple and super fast. It's like very, very real motion video. But Zoom is talking a lot about adjusting to different devices and everything too. So it's very, I think the video conferencing stuff is very far along. So
my brother-in-law uses Zoom. He's the guy that told me about it.
Right.
And they do like a multi-level marketing thing. They have hundreds of people on their. Now it's more like a conference, so they'll have like a presentation for 20 minutes, and then they'll ask for questions, and then they continue with whatever else they're doing. So it's not like everybody is participating all the time, but it sounds like they can handle a whole lot of bandwidth if they need to.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're working on. She said they did 60 releases this year, added 60 features this year, and
they could have. I don't believe I've actually read through their release notes, so if she says so, I believe her.
Some of them, they have various products. So that the presentation was about Zoom rooms, which are oriented to corporations. So with many different locations, or and so basically, they're trying to make it really easy to just go to a room. And then they offered this feature. They were apologizing for it, which I appreciated, because And I'm gonna go through just a second. Hang on, I'm gonna mute for a second.
Okay.
I don't want to keep you. We'll talk again later. Good to talk to you.
Okay. We will talk to you next week.